Okay, real quick. I just finished training literally 10 minutes ago a bunch of high school football players. They're freshmen. They're new to training. This is going to be a good video for a lot of parents out there because these kids are new to training. A lot of kids fall into this category of new to training, inexperienced, bad posture. They're just young and weak and skinny, and they're not developed yet. So this goes in along the lines of giving athletes what they need, right? You always have to be able to give an athlete what they need to get better and to progress, as opposed to just giving them things to give them things. You know what I'm saying? So probably like 10, 15, 20 years ago, we went from athletes trained too much like bodybuilders to they have to be training more functional and doing compound movements all the time, which is true to some extent, but it's always going to be, whenever we talk about training, it's going to be, it depends. So yes, if you're a more experienced trainee or experienced athlete and you've had some training underneath your belt, a couple years of training underneath your belt, at least a year probably, yes, your main builders in terms of your strength are going to be compound movements, so squatting, deadlifting, bench pressing, maybe push pressing, cleans, all those types of things are going to be where you're developing the main your maximal strength or your explosive strength, all those types of things. So, but the problem is, and we talk about this all the time, I'm always talking about this, new athletes need general physical preparedness, GPP training, so they need to raise physical capacity. And these kids actually have been coming in here for about 2 months, so they are raising their physical capacity. They're getting better in that regard. They're not like dead tired just from doing a couple sled drags. So they need to raise their physical capacity. And the other part of that is they need to work on posture, because these kids, most kids now, their posture is horrible. So because their posture is so bad, they can't physically get themselves into position to do good deadlifts, good squats, good cleans, things like that. And they need to do a lot of single joint, more isolation, bodybuilder type exercises, because they need to put on muscle mass. They're so skinny that they can't control themselves, basically, right? And that's part of the reason why their posture is so bad. They have no upper back muscles. They have no, everything's just here. They have no abs. They have no lower back. They need to get some quads, hamstrings. Like, they need to just put on a little bit of muscle mass. They'll be much more athletic if they put on a little bit of muscle. So how do you do that? You need to do doing squatting when you're not ready to squat with a barbell is not going to help them put on muscle mass. So it's compound. There's too many moving parts going there. They need to do more isolation type things. They need to do more sled work. They need to do more back extensions, reverse hypers, rows, maybe pull-ups or lat pull-downs. They need to do like those types of things, face pulls, shoulder raises. Tons of abs, like I said, triceps, biceps. You need to do all these things, and all the other compound movements will begin to go up, right? If you do the other way around and you try to just give them a whole bunch of compound movements, it just looks like crap. They one, either flounder, two, they get hurt, right? Because they're not ready for them. And when I say flounder, I mean they just don't get better. So if a kid isn't ready to bench press, for example, it's easy to talk about bench pressing. So let's say a kid's not ready to bench press, and here if they can't do 25 perfect push-ups, they just do push-ups. That's all they're working on in terms of pressing. So 25 perfect push-ups, 25 perfect push-ups with a chain around their neck. Dumbbells, ring push-ups, and then dumbbells up to 70, 75, 80 pounds. When they look solid there and they control the weight, then we go to barbell. And when they get to the barbell, they have some weight on the bar already, because they're not like, there's no point in doing a barbell with 50 pounds. Like, the barbell's meant, when you're using barbells, you're meant to move weight, right? You're not meant to do barbells. I don't personally like doing barbells for high reps. So that's where we're at with that. Like, they need more single joint exercises. So I asked the kids what they're doing at school, and they're doing the squats, cleans, deadlifts. They don't do any really accessory work. So they said, can we still come in here when we're working out of school? I said, yes, because you need to come in and get the stuff that you actually need. So if you're going to be doing that stuff at school, that's fine, right? Don't get hurt, but come in, and then when you come in here, we'll be doing lower back work. We'll be doing upper back work, lats, abs. We could spend, an hour just doing all this stuff that you actually need to do, right? And then when you're ready, we'll get you going on the barbell in here, right? Because we're not trying to hold kids back. What we want to do is set them into place so that they could accelerate with their performance because they're ready to, right? So I'm gonna attach some stuff that we do, GPP, single joint stuff, to the end of this video. And then also, I'll link up, I did a video on Bernardo's training versus high school weight rooms, the differences, right? A whole series on that. And one of them is progressions, right? So like I talked about with the bench press, we have progressions to kind of get to the bench press, right? The problem is a lot of people have no progressions, and a lot of the people running the weight rooms have no experience, that they actually don't really even know what a high school athlete needs. And there's different levels of high school athletes. Obviously, we'll have freshmen here that have been training for 3-4 years. Their training program is going to look much different than a freshman that's in here as first 2 months. Okay, so, and that's typically the problem when you see a lot of football guys in their high school weight rooms. It's here's the high school football weight room program that we're going to give to every kid, where you're going to have such a range of kids between freshmen and seniors in terms of athleticism, in terms of experience, in terms of strength, where they're at physically in their maturation process. Just you're going to run the whole spectrum there. So, you know, if you run a high school weight room, you definitely need to have that type of thing, and that's, you know, that's going to be one of the big differences. You know, the coaches just aren't. A lot of times they're not going to be educated in this stuff, and they're not going to have the experience in actually training kids year round all the time to see that like kids need different things.
All right, so we're going to go through a bunch of things. These are all off my Instagram story, so that's why they're all vertical. Might be a little harder to see, but these are basically all things that we would consider like GPP, or general physical preparedness.
Good job, big dog.
Some of them aren't necessarily single joint, but like they are going to be
there you go.
Easy for the kids to coordinate. It's going to help them just get generally overall stronger and more fit.
Up.
That's the box squat. You'll see a bunch of these videos. That's how we start with kettlebells. Once they get to about 80
try to reach
pounds
out with your
solid,
feet.
then we move up to the barbell.
Oh.
So those were some abs.
Hold it.
Some calves,
Squeeze it.
Single joint. Listen, if your calves aren't strong enough, you're going to have a hard time running and jumping. So, again, here's the box squat again, the kettlebell goblet squat, we call it. Just a sandbag carrying. These are all just basic, easy things to do. They're going to build strength and overall general strength and physical preparedness in the athletes. So they needed a lot of it in the beginning. There's some leg curls for the hamstrings, direct back extensions. They need a lot of this stuff in the beginning. This is basically all they get in the beginning of their training. And then as they start to get the barbells and move into that type of maximal strength development.
Come on, touch it.
Reagan went from 0 to 23 push-ups in a couple
Stay
months.
tight, don't get squirrely.
And then once we get to barbells and do maximal strength development, we do about only 20% of our volume of total training is with the barbell. Most of it is still done without a bar in our hands. Okay, so at that point we're trying to find weaknesses and we build on the weaknesses. Okay, so marching belt squat. Sleds, all types of sleds we're going to do. Backwards drags, forward drags.
Little Nicolicious. 627.
A little bit
29.
of general conditioning.
30.
That's more for the wrestlers.
633. Good job, Guck. 637.
Again, leg curls, direct, single. This is single joint to develop the hamstrings. Most guys really lack in hamstring strength. Just shrugs, so grip and shrugs, upper back work, things that are going to be easy just to put on a little bit of muscle mass where they need it. Okay, mass specific force that you put on muscle where they need it.
Stay down.
Tons of sleds. We warm up with sleds every day, so there's some type of sled, tire, sled push pull in our warm up every day of the week. And then we also do some of it during the workout. Again, reverse lunge, not so much single joint, but again, they need to be able to do some lunges. Just carrying things. They're going to be a great way to develop strength overall.